Hello everyone, it's Mang John from Thailand from My Stories, and today we're going to talk about a topic, how to deal with haters. So we're going to wait a little bit for people to arrive. If you have arrived already, please help me, tell me, okay, where you're from, if you hear my voice correctly, and if you feel like this video can be useful for your friends, for people that you care about, people who are dealing with the haters, you can also click like and share this video with them. Okay, so we're going to wait a little bit for people to arrive and prepare your questions. I'm really looking forward to seeing your questions because this live I made a little less of the content, so we have more time for your questions. If you have any questions, either maybe it's going to go together with topics, how to deal with haters, we're going to answer those questions today. But if the questions are really off topic and we don't have time, or maybe is not going very well with the topic we're talking about, we make a separate video for that. Okay, so your questions could be any problems you're facing in your life, or any doubts that you have about Buddhism, about meditation, about monks. You can also ask me by typing your questions in the comments. Alright, so we're waiting for more people to arrive, and if you arrive already, please tell me your name and where you're from, and tell me if you hear my voice properly, and click like or share this video for your friends, for people that you care about. Okay? Alright, so I think we got Agnew from Latvia, and I think we are getting more people. They're arriving. So the questions today, I got this question a few days ago, how to deal with haters. And I think this is very important questions because relationships and interactions with people around us is one of the biggest challenges in our life. We have to be able to deal with people properly, otherwise we can't be always happy. We spend our time staying with people that we love and people that we don't love them so much, and this is a little challenge if we have to meet them every day, whether they don't like us or maybe we don't like them. So how do we deal with one big problem here? What if there are haters and people that you feel, or maybe they really don't like you? Okay, if you are facing the same obstacles, share with me. All right, maybe I'm talking about your life, I'm talking about the scenario that you're really facing at the moment. Okay, Monk John, and this is My Stories channel. We're talking today about how to deal with haters. Tell me where you're from, and if you hear my voice correctly, you can also share with me. You can type +1. Okay, your voice is correct and clear. And if you feel like this video can be useful for people that you care about, don't hesitate sharing this video with them. All right, so the first thing that we have to tackle is I'm going to ask you one simple question. All right, I'm going to ask you one simple question. what if I ask you, do you like yourself? If you're saying that there are haters, people don't like you, the first question is, do you like yourself? Okay, do you like yourself? Yes or no? Because how we deal with this could be a little different. Okay, suppose that there are people who don't like you and you don't like yourself. The answer is no. I don't like myself either. It means that you admit that something has to be improved. Of course, it doesn't mean that you don't like yourself in all aspects, but you know that you're not perfect. Maybe there's some habits that we need to fix, that we need to correct. Me as well. Even though I become a monk for 10 years, but I still feel that I'm not a perfect monk. And I'm working myself in order to improve and become a better version of myself every day. So this is the first thing that we have to ask ourselves first. Okay, if there are haters, they don't like you, do you like yourself? And you can see, probably you can make a guess what will potentially be my answer. If the answer or your answer to this question is no, I don't like myself, my questions could possibly be maybe you can guess, right? Can you type your guess? Could you type what do we do if there are haters who don't like us and we don't like ourselves as well? What would be your suggestions, right? Well, share with me. I'm really looking forward to see what you're going to provide as the answer. All right. Suppose if there are people who don't like you, my question is, do you like yourself? If your answer is no, I don't like myself, maybe there's something about me that I'm sure it should be improved, right? So I'd like to hear from you. What would you do? Or maybe what would you give as suggestions to someone who, well, they know that they're haters and they don't like themselves as well. They know there's something about them that they have to improve. What would be your suggestions, right? I'm really looking forward to to know your answer. And yeah, we got from Agnew, I may not like some habit that I have, but generally, yes, I do like myself. Okay, so this answer could be yes as well, right? There's some haters. And the question is, do you like yourself? If the answer of yours is no, I don't like myself as well, there's some part of myself that I know it should be improved, then you need to work on that first. Because most of the time, we try to find some reasons that people don't like us. But we forgot that there might be some part, some words, some actions that we did that maybe they didn't really like them. And we even didn't feel aware of that ourselves, right? So we should do something in order to improve ourselves, of course, could become a better version of ourselves. So you come to like yourself better. You come to be very proud of yourself that if I would be someone who looked at myself, I would potentially love or like myself. I'm not going to hate myself for that, right? So again, if these questions, do you like yourself? And the answer is no. There's something that make me feel sometimes embarrassed, or maybe not very confident, or maybe not very proud of myself. Do something, fix it, right? Usually, there are something that we need to consider. And this thing that we need to consider is the justification between good and bad, right and wrong, what we should do and what we should not do, okay? These justification, do you think everyone have them the same or not, right? Do you think that everyone has the same justification between good, bad, right, wrong, should or should not? Do you think that your justification is the same with everyone else in the same country, the same continent, the same religion, or maybe in the same world, right? What is your answer? Do you really have a universal justification for this? Okay. Hello, Bruno. Hello, Armand. It's nice to see you from Benin. Hello, Agnir and Kana. Nice to see you all. So, normally, everyone in the world, we have different justification of good, bad, right, wrong, and should not. And that's why sometimes whatever we do cannot satisfy everyone in the world. That's of course, right? And sometimes we have to admit that maybe our justification here is not totally accurate. Even me, I admit that my justification is not going to be the most accurate one. So sometimes I do something that I thought it was right, but it was wrong. And I think it happens to everyone. We did something, we thought it was right, but it was not, right? So the answer to this question is we still have many things we need to care about. We still have many of our negative behaviors that we have to correct, our habits that we have to overcome and we have to change. And this change is not for anyone else, but for ourselves, right? So, do you like yourself if there are haters who do not like you? If the answer is no, I don't totally like myself, that's something that I need to correct. Yes, do something first. Let's start with ourselves. Let's don't try to find a million of reasons why people don't like us. That is a trap. So whenever these questions arise, how do I deal with haters? And you try to find reasons why they hate me, why they don't like me, why they're doing this to me. Let me tell you, forget about those questions and try to begin with yourself. Look at yourself. And maybe one day, if you look at yourself fair and square, if you look at yourself with better justification between good, bad, right, wrong, should, and should not, you may come to a conclusion that, whoa, there are tons of behaviors, tons of actions, tons of things that people may not like about me, right? Well, we are living in the world and the world is full of conflicts. It means that whatever we do, either we can please others or maybe we are going to annoy others some way or another, right? So begin with yourself. Begin with yourself. And if the answer is yes, okay, let me draw this. Okay, this is you, right? And now you come to like yourself. Pretty good one, right? And you look at yourself and you cannot find a flaw that some people is not very fair for them to dislike us. And this is your hater. Hater, okay. Haters. And okay, this is their word. I don't like you. All right. So this is you. Well, you try to check, you try to improve, and you come to a conclusion that you try so hard, but there's still people who don't like you. You like yourself, but people don't like you. So there's some inconsistency here that we have to tackle, right? In this case, what do? You can share, okay? So we have Bruno, we have Armand, we have Joe. Joe, where are you from? Never seen you before, right? This can be, first, misunderstanding. Right? This could happen because even though we try to be good, but like sometimes people don't really know us. They might heard from rumors, right? After people talk about us, and when people talk about us, they didn't talk about everything. They talk about something that sometimes they like, sometimes they didn't like, sometimes they know, and sometimes what they don't know. And this creates problem. When people heard about it, they started to believe in kind of false rumors about you. So people could misunderstand you, and if they hear about misunderstanding every day, maybe one day they feel like, hey, I don't like that person. Or the second scenario could be, there is a man in your university or maybe in your workplace that you kind of met every day, but that man never smiled at you at all. Even though you try to smile at that man, but he didn't actually smile at you. So you started to feel like, that person, perhaps he didn't like me. Maybe he didn't like you, or maybe he didn't have any reason to smile with you. Who knows, right? Basically, people could misunderstand about you, and that's why they didn't like you, or they don't know a reason to like you, or maybe they hate you. They don't really like you, right? So how do we do with this? Very easy. If they don't understand us, then you can just go and talk to them, right? You can just talk to that person. Suppose that you never talk to anyone and you believe that a person got false information about you. All you have to do is just to correct that belief. Maybe you can ask someone to do it, but it's better just to do it for yourself. Whenever you have a chance, be brave, talk to the person, but use the right time, okay? Because if you don't actually talk to a person at the right time, the time that they're not ready to hear something from you, that words of yours is not going to go right to their heart. Maybe the word bounce back, right? So talk to the person. If a person misunderstands about you, why are you waiting for? And how long are you going to wait until that person will probably misunderstand you forever, right? So talk to that person. Make him or her understand you. If you feel like you like yourself, but the haters, they didn't get correct information about you, or someone gossip about you, then just correct information. Talk to that person. It should be as easy as this, right? And remember, this is our mind, okay? I don't know how to draw the mind, but this is mind. Our mind has one nature. The mind thinks a lot, right? Our mind has this nature. It thinks a lot. And sometimes our mind will not in the state that we could understand things easily. When a person were not in that state, and their perceptions could be inaccurate. Suppose that they got angry with someone and they passing by you, and you didn't smile to that person. That person misunderstood that maybe he didn't like me, and they come to dislike you, for example. This would happen because the perception is getting less, or the quality of perception is getting lower if our mind is not very clear. If our mind doesn't feel happy, whatever we think, we speak, we do is not going to be happy, right? So that perception our mind could create a picture of a person that we thought he was. So what do we do with this, right? Just talk to that person, give proper understanding about who we really are. And eventually, if you are nice, if people don't like you, the way that you are nice, the way you're very kind, the true self, your true self is going to change and to trigger a good part in that person. All right? So be yourself. This case is not difficult at all because you are already good. Again, I asked a question initially at the beginning of the beginning of the program. If someone hates you, do you like yourself? If the answer is no, I think there's something that maybe you have to be fair, all right? You have to be fair because all of us did mistakes and maybe we are still doing the same mistakes all over again. Or maybe we don't even know that what we are doing are hurting others, right? So you have to be fair about these questions. If someone don't like you, do you like yourself? Are you perfect? Is something about yourself that you thought it needs to be addressed? If the answer is yes, it is, then do something with yourself first. I don't want you to find a million of reasons why someone dislikes you. But come back to yourself and try to do something. Maybe you can speak and smile more to people. Maybe you start sharing things with people. Maybe you start smile at people first and don't wait for them to smile at you. This is how we can correct the misunderstanding. And the answer is, if you like yourself, you're already a good man, but someone dislikes you for a reason, and many people would agree with that. Or one way to make sure that you are not fooling yourself is, like people would agree that someone dislikes you for a improper reason, but you don't actually need to, okay, please be my part. Be on my side that this person don't like me and I'm a good one, right? So you don't have to try to get more people on your side, but you should actually begin with yourself. And of course, if there are really improper reasons when people dislike you, try to explain, okay? Try to correct that misunderstanding, all right? And in this case, when we practice meditation, every time we practice meditation, our mind could become clearer. Suppose that this is the mind, and this is an example that I talk about all the time, that our mind is like a container of water, all right? And every time we do something and we don't feel happy, and maybe we feel stressed and there are a lot of tension, a lot of challenges, problems that we face, we drop some ink into the water and that water loses quality. That is going to distort our perception and make us see things unclearly. And this is when we sometimes misjudge others, right? We perhaps fall into the negative thinking, negative way of thinking or judging people. Have you ever found yourself in that situation when you possibly misjudge other people before, or you always judge people, or like consider everything properly? You never made any mistakes. We all made at least a mistake before, right? And if you made a mistake, how you look at people before, other people could make a mistakes about you as well. So if this happens, this is very, very normal. It's something that could happen to anyone. that people misunderstand you. If you can do something, do that. Talk to people, make him or her understand. And now we are going to talk about the second case. If you cannot do anything, because sometimes you try so hard, but the mind of people do not accept. They don't want to learn how you change. Maybe you did a mistake, you corrected it, but those people, they don't want to see you as a new person. They are not open to the new you. So what do we do? In this case, if you try so hard, but you try to explain maybe and they don't understand you, they don't like you, again, what do we do? What is your suggestions? Do you have any suggestions to this? What if, again, we go a very long hierarchy at the moment. We start from the question. Some people don't like me, right? And my following up questions. Do you like yourself? If the answer is maybe no or not or, then do something about yourself. Don't try to find millions of reasons why someone don't like you, yourself, right? Yes, then it could be that this is a misunderstanding, right? And if this is a misunderstanding, then do something again. Do something. Talk to people. Make them understand. But if this is something that you cannot do, I cannot do anything. I cannot do anything. In this sense, I'd like to share with you that no matter who you are, there will always be three kinds of people, okay? No matter who you are, again, no matter who you are, there will be always three kinds of people. People who will like what you do. People who don't like what you do. And the third group is people who don't care about you. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, no matter this is going to be 10 years in the future, you're going to meet these three kinds of people. You can't change people in the world and make them like you. No one have ever done that before in the history of the whole world. If we can accept this fact, we are not going to be worried too much, right? Suppose that whatever you do, there will be people who like you anyway, so pay attention to this group of people. Don't pay attention too much on this group of people. Of course, there might be this group of people around, right? But if whatever we do, we can't actually change their mind anyway, they're going to hate us because they have their own ego, they have their own prejudice, right? And this prejudice is very hard to change. You're not going to try to change people in the world to understand you. It's not going to be possible, right? Look at all the YouTube videos. In every YouTube videos, there always be like and dislike. No matter how good your video are, you post video and you thought that, oh, this video is so lovely. It's talk about things that could be very useful for many people. And then someone dislike you for no reason. So you're not going to cry, you're not going to hate yourself for that, right? You're not going to feel so sad about it. All you can do is just to accept and let go, because whatever you do, there will always be three kinds of people: who like what you do, who don't like what you do, and who don't care about that at all, right? All right, so we come to this conclusion that when someone don't like you, do you like yourself? If no or not all, I still have something that I don't like about myself, do something about yourself. Don't try to find the reasons why people don't like you. Or yes, I like myself, then we have inconsistency problem here. That maybe people misunderstand you. They don't understand who you really are. Maybe they listen to rumors, right? So do something about that. You can explain, you can talk to them, you can make them understand who you really are. Or I cannot do anything. Then think about the nature of the world. Look at the Buddha himself, for example. The Buddha, he meditated, he shared his meditation knowledge, his philosophy was very good for many people, that changed a lot of people's life. But there are some people who didn't like the Lord Buddha for different reasons. Some of them loses benefits because when the Buddha who started to teach, there were also some other teachers, and the students of them started to follow the Buddha's teaching and didn't follow the advice anymore. So they lost some benefits. As a result, they tried to do something like try to criticize the Buddha, try to even make false news that Buddha made a lady pregnant, and eventually everyone knew the truth that it was not true. So this is something that even a very noble man, someone disliked him for different reasons. Or there is another monk called Devadatta. He a little bit jealous about the Buddha himself, and he wanted to become the leader of all the other monks. So he started to criticize, he started to split all the monks into groups. And eventually, those people who, who didn't like us, and we try to change them, but they can't be changed, right? In this sense, try to at least continuously be yourself and be your better self. Try to do something good about yourself, if you can't change others, so instead of trying to change them, just let go. What they think about you should not be something that you should take as your happiness or unhappiness. Whenever someone dislikes you and you are unhappy, it means that your happiness depends on how that person will like you or not, right? Or if someone likes you and you feel even happier, then your happiness depends on how that person will like you or not. So what if your happiness is about something that you can do for yourself? If you are a good person yourself, then you should be proud of it, and that should be the source of happiness that you have, right? So if you can't do anything with this group of people, and there are still some group of people that proves you are not fooling yourself and you understand yourself correctly, don't care so much about this group of people, because haters gonna hate. You listened to this one before, right? Haters gonna hate, so let them go and try to be yourself. And this is because there always be three kinds of perspective. Okay, but before I go to that, do you like yourself? Yes, but sometimes people misunderstand you. Or yes, sometimes you misunderstand yourself. You don't really know yourself. Maybe you have some kind of ego. There is one thing that really blocks people from changing themselves. That thing is called ego. Once we have ego, once we have ignorance, it means that we believe that we are really good and that is not the truth. People might not agree to that, right? So if you felt like you are the best people in the world and everyone is just wrong, then maybe this is about this case. Some people don't like you, and you thought you liked yourself, you thought yourself was pretty good, but you are not. This is the biggest problem here, right? In all other cases, very simple. Either you do something with yourself, either you correct people, either you share your experience, or either you let go. There are always some way out. But again, if someone don't like me and I like myself, but that is not the real perspective. Okay, there are always three perspectives, but this is not the same. So I'm going to erase this one and write again. The first perspective is how you see yourself. How you see yourself. The second perspective is how others see you. And the third perspective is who you really are. Who you really are. So, sometimes we consider ourselves from this perspective without considering ourselves from other perspective, and that creates problem. We didn't see ourselves in a correct perspective, and that kind of creates a false picture, false perspective about us. So we thought we were good, but we're not. We keep hurting others, and when you keep hurting others, people don't like you. So that's normal, right? So how do you come to understand yourself not only from this perspective, but the other two perspectives as well, especially this one, who you really are? How do we know who we really are? Well, sometimes we met these people, right? When you are alone. When you are alone, when you are not with anyone that you care about, when you are not with your friends and you are just alone, that is when you release and your true habits will be visible when you are alone. Okay? So that is who you really are, and you just have to look at your mirror, look at yourself, and is there something that you potentially have as a lazy habit, or maybe something that could make people get angry about you, or maybe you're not very organized and you make your whole house, your whole rooms big mess the whole time, and some other people will have to clean them out. Or maybe you are always late in your group work and people have to cover, and they didn't like that, right? If you always not very punctual about your working style, people, even though some of them will love you, but there will be some who, oh, this man again, he sent his part very late and now our project is going to be delayed and we're going to have a big trouble. So consider yourself from who you really are as well, not how you see yourself. Okay, you understand this, right? Do you understand? I hope that I'm not saying too quickly. Am I saying too quickly? I thought, oh, we just have 1 hour. So, okay, now maybe take a little break here. If you have any questions, please write your questions. Okay, I'm reading at the moment so that I know if you think this is going too fast. If this is going too fast, please let me know. Okay, I'm going to speak a bit slower. All right, am I slower? Is the speed too slow for you? Are you sleepy now? Please tell me. Okay. Okay, and again, this started here. Do you love yourself when there are haters? If your answer is no, I don't love myself at all, or no, there's something that I love about myself, but I don't totally love my true habits or my true, like some behaviors that I don't like about them. So do something first, okay? Start with ourselves. You can't change people. People are not controllable. Weather is not controllable. Economics is not controllable. People are not controllable. The world is not controllable. The only thing that is controllable, even though it's not very easy to control, is your own mind. Again, weather is not controllable. Economics is not controllable. People are not controllable. Relationship is not controllable. The world is not controllable. Politics is not controllable. The only thing that is controllable is your mind. Okay? So before you try to ask millions of reasons why people don't like you, do something about yourself. But if you like yourself, and many people agree, only one people who don't really agree and they don't like you anyway, maybe they misunderstand about you. They heard some rumors. Some people who had a little problem with you before might talk about some misunderstanding to a person, and that person, even though you never talked to him at all, received rumors, right? Have you ever one day talked to a person and you found that everything you knew about that person was totally wrong? Have you ever talked to that person and found that everything that you knew about that person was completely inaccurate? If you have ever talked to a person that way, someone could misunderstand you in the same way. So you just have to correct that misunderstanding, right? But if you cannot do anything anyway, then again, I explained there are always three groups of people. People who will always like you. Even though you do something wrong, they will like you. And people who always don't like you. Even though you do something to please them, even though you do something totally right, there are going to be some haters anyway. Haters going to hate. So don't pay attention too much to them. Or people who don't really care. Or maybe they will judge based on your actions. So if there always be three kinds of people anyway, and you can't make everyone in the world to like you, don't do that. No one have ever succeeded doing that. In history of mankind, in history of the world, no one has ever made everyone in the world like him or her without any haters at all. Okay, so you're not going to be the first one, and it's not going to be possible. Again, weather is not changeable or controllable. People are not controllable. The world is not controllable. Things are not controllable. Relationship is not controllable. The only thing that is controllable is your own mind. But really got a little problem here, because if you thought you like yourself, but you misunderstand about yourself, that is why we have to consider not only how we see ourselves, because that could be from a wrong or improper perspective. Maybe we have prejudice, we have ego, we thought that we were the best one in the world and everyone is completely wrong. And that is how you have to consider yourself from where you are, who you truly are, and how to do that. One thing that I would recommend you to do is to meditate, because every time we meditate, we clean our own mind. And once our mind is clean, we will be able to see the world more accurately. We will be able to understand how the world truly is. Okay? All right? Then, The one who you really are is the one that when you are alone and no one is watching, because that is the real you, right? So consider yourself and ask yourself again, do you really like that person, the one who you really are? The best is we can make these three aspects the same: how you see yourself, how others see you, and who you really are. If we can make them the same, then that will be wonderful, because you don't have anything to hide. People like you from who you really are, and you truly love yourself that way. Okay? So, again, if there are still some people who will not like you anyway, it's fine, right? As long as they don't do any violence towards you. If they're going to use any force and trying to beat you up, now it's not me that you're watching. You should call a cop or a police now, right? Don't. You have your own right, and even though people don't like you, and believe me, 80% of problems are just our perceptions. Maybe we thought they didn't like us, or maybe they misunderstood about us, but most of them are about the wrong perception. But there are some perceptions or some problem here. If people don't like us and they start to use any violence towards us, maybe they start to hurt us, they start to beat us. So it's not me who you should talk to, but you should talk to the police or maybe your lawyer. There is one word, okay, I like you to remember. You can be kind. You can be kind, but don't be stupid. What I'm trying to say is, you can be kind to people, but you don't always have to let people take advantages of you. You can be smart, be kind, be smart. They can be together. You love yourself. Loving yourself doesn't mean that you always let people take advantages of you because you love them. Loving yourself also understand that you have the right to your life, to your property, to your relationship, and to the truth that you can hear, you can consume. And those rights should not be violated by anyone. One thing that we consider as a blessing is we are surrounded by good people, and we are not surrounded by negative people. So if you cannot change people around you, if you can't actually force them or make them love you or understand you better, try to associate or stay more with positive people. Okay? Staying more with positive people, we can feel more positive energy. It doesn't mean that we will stop talking to negative people at all. You can talk to them, but don't hang out so much with them. Don't spend most of your time with them. Suppose that you have 24 hours, okay? I suggest that you spend at least 8, of course more than 8 hours. What about 16 hours? This 16 hours from 24 hours, who you should spend this time for? Answer me. I would say that you should at least spend with yourself. And maybe you can do for others 8 hours. When you work, your time with them, your relationship, or this number could be adjusted, could be like this 10 hours, and it's going to be 14. But during this time, if there are negative people and you have to spend time with, remember that you always have good time for yourself. And don't pay attention too much on this amount of time that you have to spend with negative people or people that don't like you or people that don't understand you, you don't spend whole day with that people, right? All right, so thank you. We have a question from Sean. How about people who misunderstand about ourselves? How we can define who we really are? Thank you, Sean. Thank you for your questions. So let me tell you, this is you, okay? And this is the perspective that you see yourself from. And this perspective is the worst one ever, because we don't really see ourselves at all. We spend too much time looking at people around us. So our perspective, our perception of ourselves is very inaccurate somehow. And this is how people see you. This is how people see you. Well, when people see you, the one that they see is not always accurate as well, right? Because they also see through glasses. This is a big glasses, but this is just for you to see. And these glasses sometimes are not very clean. They are with anger, with ignorance, and with misunderstanding. So, but even though there are two perspectives, there is one more, who you really are, right? Who you really are. And there is even more, your true self. Your true self. This is who you are. Who you are. When I say who you are, I'm not saying who you were or who you are going to be. This is who you are at the moment. And I mentioned that you don't see this person very often, because when we are together with others, sometimes we wear masks. Okay, this is a mask. Okay, yeah, I have pretty good drawing today, and I hope I don't misunderstand about myself, right? This is a mask, and there can be many masks. Okay. So look at yourself when you are alone. Those are the habits that sometimes we try to cover. And we have to understand that we also need to pay attention to how people look at us, even though the way they look at us are not going to be very accurate. But what if you have a friend, okay? A friend. A friend, A-R-E-N-D, a friend, not from series Friends, but a very good friend who will tell you, I would like to tell you, and they are very honest with you. They share with you who really are. That good friend, without any marks, without glasses or dirty glasses or prejudice or any kind of negative things, who you can trust and tell you the way you really are. You have to believe and you have to listen to that person. Don't get locked with who you thought you were and you are not, okay? So I think everyone has such person, right? Do you have one? Do you have such person who really care about you and can share with you the good thing, the bad thing, right? There are many people. Stay close to them and you will really find out about who you really are. Not the one that you want other people to see about you, not the one that people look at you, And eventually you are going to become closer to your true self, not even who you really are, because who you really are is not your true self. You haven't found your true self. Your true self is waiting for you to be found. Okay? It's waiting for you to find the true self. The true self is within you. All you have to do is just listen first to your true self. Okay? So, again, we talk about a little problem when people use violence towards us. And I explained that you can be kind, but don't be stupid. Don't let people take advantages of you. If they start to use violence, then it's probably not me that you're listening to, but maybe you have to call a police, you have to call a cop, maybe you have to call your lawyer for that, right? So people who really will attack you, will start to use violence about you, they are weak. Because they are weak and they can't be happy just by looking at other people being successful, being happy. They attack people to make themselves feel good. Okay? So in this sense, you see, be kind to them. Okay? Be kind, but don't be stupid. Be kind to them. Let me share with you one story. I like to share with you a story of a devil. Devil. Okay, am I making him like a devil? Look like a bat? Bat devil, maybe. Devil. Oh, okay. I have to make it like this, so he look a little bit more like a devil. What about the body? Oh, so pretty cute. Devil. Look like a devil. Okay. Like this. With more horns. That's fine. Okay. A devil walk and arrived at a castle. Okay. A castle. In this castle, there is a throne. And the devil walked to the throne. All the soldiers. I hope I made it a correct mistake. Spelling. Soldier. Seeing the devil walking towards the throne, they will try to fight with the devil because they know if they do anything, maybe the king doesn't feel very pleased. So all the soldiers will try to attack the devil. But every time the soldier attack, either they try to cut the devil, they try to throw the stones, they try to use some cursing words, swear words, and try to shout at the devils. The body of the devil become larger and larger. And the smell of the devil is not very pleasant at all. Then the king returned. The king, once he saw the devil sitting on his throne, okay, if you arrive to your home and you found that someone intruded your bedroom and slept on top of your bed, your beloved bed, and you really don't want anyone to sit up on your bed already, do you feel angry? You possibly will feel angry, right? So the king would possibly feel angry as well because someone was sitting on his throne. But instead of trying to do the same thing the soldiers did, the king did something else. The king listened to all the stories from the soldiers and understood that, because the soldier was trying to use violence towards the devil, and the devil body was getting larger, and now he's more powerful, and he's sitting on the throne. The king did something the opposite. The king asked the devil, "Hello, devil, Mr. Devil, are you tired? Do you feel hungry? Oh, soldiers, bring some food for the devil, please. This is your food. Eat the food. And oh, yeah, you might be feeling tired. Let my soldier massage you. How's your body? You feel some pain over there? Okay, I massage you." And he did this to the devil. And every time he did something good to the devil, the body of the devil got shrunk. The devil becomes smaller and less powerful. Eventually, the soldiers understood and did the same thing. Everyone was trying to do something nice to the devil. Even the smell of the devil wasn't very nice. Even he looked very scary. So the devil got smaller and smaller and smaller, and eventually returned to become just a normal person. So I'm trying to tell you is, no one is forever good or bad. So make sure that we are not going to become this devil ourselves. And we are going to treat other people very good way. Be kind to them. Those who attack others are weak. And they do that because they believe what they were doing will make them feel happy and satisfied. So if you are able to do this, eventually we can trigger our heart. Sorry, not our heart, but everyone's heart always have two parts. The good part and the bad part, right? Mine as well. Everyone's heart contains either positive part and negative part. So if we trigger this part very often, all right, this part of people is going to grow, and eventually we can help them return to a proper path again, right? So, of course, one last thing that I really like you to understand before we finish today is, if there's still someone who don't like us anyway, because I spent 1 hour talking about different scenarios when there are haters, people misunderstood us, we misunderstand about ourselves, but sometimes some people are going to dislike us anyway. What is this? I share with you that you're not going to make everyone in the world like you. That is not going to be a good idea. No one has ever done that. No one has ever succeeded. Even most beloved people in the past, no one ever made 100% of people of the world like them. So you're not going to be the first one. Don't do that. But if there are still people who hate you anyway, let me share with you about the law of karma. Perhaps that's a karma that you did in the past. You probably, I don't like you. And that comes to you at the moment. Oh, people don't like me. If we can think about it this way, perhaps we can let it go easier, right? And this is a part of the nature. This is something that if we cannot change the nature, we have to live with the nature of the world. We have to learn to accept it. This is a nature of the world. Okay? Okay, so we have one more questions that from Agni. I wonder what is actually being stupid. Like, when you always let other people take advantages of you because you thought you were going to lose them, you were going to lose your friends. Okay, in this sense, I would say you have 7 billion people in the world. 7 billion. Is this 7 billion? Right? I should just write 7 billion. It's easier. 7 billion people. So instead of trying to let few people, like 3 people, take advantages of you forever because you thought you were going to lose them, they hurt you, they beat you. Why don't you be more open to the other 7 billion people minus 3, right? This is going to be very interesting mathematical equations. So suppose there are 3 people who hurt you, who beat you, who make you feel very, very bad, and they take advantages of you, use violence against you the whole time. Why don't you continue being not very wise, spending time with these 3 people while there are still 7 billion people minus 3 waiting for you to be friends with? Okay? All right, so this is the topic that I'd like to share with you today. I cover different parts, different perspectives. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate writing the questions. Maybe we can make a separated video for this, or maybe I will come to you, type my answers in the box. And if you have any ideas about the topics that you like to listen to next week, don't hesitate writing your topics, your suggestions, and we're going to cover some of them in the nearby upcoming weeks. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the live, you enjoy the story today. If you feel like this video is useful, please consider sharing with your friends, your family, or people that might gain some benefits from this video, or people who are in troubles, and maybe this advice can help them one way or another. Please share this video with them in different places. All right, and thank you very much for your attention, for your participation, and I hope to see you again very soon. It's going to be just 7 days from now or 1 week away. So I'm Monk John. This is my story channels, and we see you again. Thank you and goodbye.